Okay, so we are going to talk about simplifying fractions. You learned how to do it in class, but hopefully this video will help you at home or wherever you are trying to simplify a fraction. The first fraction we are going to simplify is 3/6. We are going to use this as our example. So we want to simplify 3/6 into its simplest fraction form. So we are going to follow the 5 steps on the left of the screen to do this. Our first step, and I'll write in blue so you can see that we have to factor out our numerator and our denominator. Factoring out a number means finding all the factors or all the ways you can multiply two numbers to get that number. For example, to get 3 by multiplying, we can do 1 times 3. Therefore, the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. And since those are the only two numbers that you can multiply together to make 3, we can move on to our denominator now of 6. Our denominator 6 has a couple different options as far as what we can multiply together to make that 6. So some of our factors of 6 are, we can do 2 times 3, so 2 and 3 are both factors of 6. And we can also do 1 times 6. So 1 and 6 are also factors of 6. Now that we have found all of our factors, our next step, which I'm going to write in purple, is find all common factors. So we need to look at our numerator and our denominator and find all of the factors that they share that are the same. So our numerator 3, it has a 1 as a factor, and our denominator 6 also has a 1 as a factor. So 1 is a common factor. I said I was going to write in purple, so let me fix that. Okay, so 1 is a common factor. Now, our numerator has a 3 as a factor, and our denominator also has a 3 as a factor. So 3 is also a common factor. Now, for step 3 in red, we need to figure out which one of our factors are or is the greatest common factor. We have to find the GCS, which is the greatest common factor. So out of 1 and 3, which one of those numbers is the greatest? 3 is the greatest. So 3 is our greatest common factor. We are ready now for step 4 in green, which is simplify. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our greatest common factor of 3, and we are going to use it to simplify our fraction. We do that by doing this. We're going to use our greatest common factor of 3 and think 3 times what equals our numerator of 3? Well, 3 times 1 equals 3. Now, we're going to go down to our denominator, use our greatest common factor, which is a 3, and think 3 times what equals 6? Well, 3 times 2 equals 6. Now, the next part in simplifying is we have to cross out our common factors, the 3. We are now left with a 1 on top and 2 on the bottom. And if we were to put that in fraction form, it would be 1/2. Now, our last step is to check to make sure we can't simplify it anymore. One way you can do that is by listing out the factors of 1, which is just a 1, and listing out the factors of 2, 1 and 2. Now, since the only common factor they share is a 1, then that's how you know you are done. My motto in class is 1 and we're done. And that can mean two things. Your common factors are 1, only 1, or even when your numerator is a 1, you can say 1 and you're done. Because that's how you know that that fraction cannot be simplified anymore. And that is how we simplify 3/6. Okay, now our next fraction we're going to simplify is a little bit harder. It is 6/24. Now the reason that I would say this one is a little bit harder is because 6 and 24 both kind of have a lot of factors. 6, not so much, but definitely 24 has a lot of different options or ways we can make 24 by multiplying. But let's just focus on following our steps. So step 1 is factor out your numerator and denominator. So let's factor out our numerator first. So I know that 2 times 3 equals 6. So 2 and 3 are both factors. Can you press pause and think of another combination that makes 6 by multiplying? Press pause now and see if you can think of the other way to make 6 by multiplying. Okay, hopefully you figured out that 1 and 6 are both factors of 6 because 1 times 6 equals 6. Now, let's move down to our denominator, and I want you to press pause again, and I want you to think about all of the ways you can make 24 by multiplying. Find all your factors of 24. So press pause now and do that. Okay, now, hopefully, you were able to come up with all these different factors. I'm going to list them out, and you check your work with mine. I know that 2 times 12 is 24. I know that 6 times 4 is 24, so 6 and 4 are both factors. I know that 3 times 8 is 24, so 3 and 8 are both factors. I know we can do 24 times 1 to get 24, so 24 and 1 are both factors. And that is it. So let's go ahead now and move on to step 2, and let's figure out what all of our common factors are. Let's find all of our common factors that our numerator and our denominator share that are the same. So go ahead and I want you to press pause and I want you to find all of our common factors. All right, so let's look. Hopefully these are all of the common factors you found. I noticed that our numerator has a 2 and our denominator has a factor of 2. So that's a common factor. I noticed that the numerator has a factor of 3 and so does our denominator. So 3 is a common factor. Maybe I can circle these just so you can see what I'm talking about. There's our 2's, there's our 3's. Okay, I see that 1 is a factor of both 6 and 24. And I also see that 6 is a factor of both 6 and 24. So I'm going to add those up there, the 1 and the 6. Those are all of my common factors. Now, step 3 is find the greatest common factor. So go ahead and press pause, look at your 2, 3, 1, and 6, and figure out which one of those is your greatest common factor. Press pause now. Okay, hopefully you were able to identify or see that 6 is your greatest common factor. Now that you have your greatest common factor, we can simplify. So I'm going to go ahead and do my parentheses and my multiplication sign to set it up for simplifying. And go ahead and enter in my greatest common factor. Now, we know 6 times 1 equals 6. So we did our numerator. So I want you to press pause and figure out the denominator. Think, before you press pause, think 6 times what is 24. Okay, press pause now and figure it out. All right, hopefully you were able to see that 6 times 4 is 24. Now remember, our next step in simplifying is crossing out our common factors of 6, and we are left with 1 as our numerator and 4 is our denominator. So I'm going to rewrite that fraction. Now, to check your work again, you can either refactor your numerator and denominator. So 1 is the only factor of 1. And we have 2 times 4, so 2 and 4 are factors of 4. And then, I'm sorry, just kidding, 2 times 2 equals 4. So 2 is a factor of 4. And then 4 times 1 equals 4. So 4 and 1 are factors of 4. But our only common factors are 1. And remember, like I said, if our only common factors are 1, we are done. And also, our numerator is a 1. That's another way you can figure out that you're done. If your numerator is 1, we are done. And that is it. Hopefully this has helped you. And if you have any more questions, please make sure to ask me for help. I would love to help you. Thank you. Yeah.